we're back from spring break, and it is time to get back into learning mode. So what I thought would be nice is if we broke things up. We've all been doing different pathways, and I think the best way for us to get back into the scheme of things is to try something fresh, try something new that we haven't done in CAD before, so we have a chance to play with it. What I thought we should invest our time in is some 3D sculpting. Kind of like sculpting something out of clay. This is using a digital platform where you sculpt a 3D object. So I looked around at different online friendly, web-based sculpting platforms, and I decided to give you access to this one that we're going to be using, sculptfab, because you don't need to log in. There are other sculpting software suites, but this one I think is a very light software that is going to be easy to pick up. My one word of caution is that since you aren't logged into anything, if you don't save it, it goes away. So let me shrink my head here. Alright, so when you open up sculptfab, you're going to have this 3D sphere. Now, just to get us started, let's go with mouse controls. If you click the middle mouse wheel, it works just like CAD, or AutoCAD, or Autodesk, where it pans the view. The next control is going to be rotate, and that's going to be achieved with a right click. Now, you can see it on mine because I made this little dimple that you can see that the object's rotating. It doesn't look like it's rotating if it's just a sphere. And then zoom is the mouse wheel. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, now, with this software, you can load .obj files, .stl files, basically files that are ready for 3D printing. And that's what a huge aspect of this type of software is for. It's for 3D printing. You can have a basic model and then you can add better curvature or define features better than you could in a structured digital environment like SketchUp or Inventor or Fusion. Okay, now let me go over some basic tools to get you started just for today. So, all the way on the right, let's look at the top. It says Tool, Brush. You click here, there's a lot of different tools, and they're pretty straightforward. Scale is going to proportionately blow things up. Crease is going to be making little creases, or it's going to be like you're pinching out that edge. And you have pinch too, which is a better version of pinching out material. Rotate, you're taking features on the object and rotating them. Brush is a good starting point. So brush is going to add material with your mouse cursor. And I'm going to brush from the side so you can just see that work. That's brush. Now, negative is going to be brushing in. So with all of these tools, they're going to have some sort of movement or some action that's happening, and you can always reverse what it does by clicking negative. Now, I don't know what clay is. Beats me. Continuous. I don't know. Let's move down to something that I do know. Symmetry. So if I was trying to create a person or something like that, symmetry is going to give me two different... It's going to take a center axis and it's going to make the same actions on both sides. I'm going to reset the sphere right here, right back to the beginning. I have symmetry enabled and I have my brush. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some eyebrows. So I clicked slightly off to the right, and you'll see that you have the same eyebrows going on both sides. Let's see. Radius and intensity are both defining how much of your tool you're using. So the radius of my tool, if I make it 187, I guess it's 187 pixels or something. Here, boom, it's going to be a very large space. If I do 20, it's that tiny circle, and now I can just do like a little eyeball. Intensity. So if I lower the intensity, it's going to be a very gradual brushing. It's not going to be extruding that material that far. Whereas if I go, let's go 100%. There we go. It really pops out. You get yourself in trouble because, well, it kind of looks like I made horns or antenna or something like that. But generally, if you're dealing with detail, you want lower intensity. You start with coarse adjustments, really rough ones, and then you focus in on finer adjustments. Now, let's see, topology. I don't really play with that. Shader. That's going to change the appearance of it, kind of like if we were changing our view format of something in Autodesk Inventor. So, transparency, here it's transparent. I haven't had a use for changing these different shades. I don't know. Basically, you want to have some sort of material that you can see what you're actually doing. So, let me show you one or two more things. Smooth and flatten are really handy. So smooth is going to take, you can see you got these really intense also Control Z still works. I've got a very intense edge going on at the bottom of the eyebrow. If I smooth it out, looks like it's doing a crease right now. But here we go. Yeah, now it's smoothing out, so it's a nice transition into the eyebrow. Now if I wanted to crease, here I pick right in that edge. There we go. And it's starting to make a crease where I'm defining it. So if you want to have a very sharp transition from one material to, or from one portion to another, that's a good tool to use. Okay, that's a very basic introduction to the tools that you will need for our task today. In the LDL sheet, I want you to take this sphere, and make the ugliest face you can. Now, here's some criteria. It needs to have common features. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, has to have those features. Whether or not you do 3 eyes or 1 eye or 2 eyes, whatever it is, that's up to you. But I don't want you to just put 2 dots, a smiley face. I want you to play around with these different sculpting tools and see if you can get a grip on how to use these things. Please limit yourself to just our period. It should not take the full period. This is supposed to be a light, fun activity to get you acclimated to sculpting. On that note, one last thing that I got to bring up. If you want to keep this face, you need to file, save. You can save it as an STL or an OBJ. OBJ is going to be something that you can view in something like Windows 3D Viewer, and STL you may be able to, but that is a common file for 3D printing. In any case, you could always load those back later. You just need to save them. Okay? On that note, let me know if you have questions and have a great day.